Hello, BookTube. Only 4 packages in the mail this time around, which surely means that we won't have enough time to get into trouble. It won't be ranting or crazy side digressions. We can only hope. Let's start with the first one of these vacuum packed cardboard things that never open right, so you need to wrestle with it. But that's okay. Uh, okay. All right. Our first thing is a novel. Don't think I recognize it. It's Girl in Snow by Danya Kufkafka. Kukafka? Danya Kufkafka is a graduate of New York University's School of Individualized Study. She currently works as an assistant editor at Riverhead Books, and this is her debut novel. Good for her. Good for her. So this comes out, let's see here, on August 1st. And it is, let's see here, Who Are You When No One Is Watching? When a beloved high schooler named Lucinda Hayes is found murdered, no one in her sleepy Colorado suburb is untouched. Not the boy who loved her too much, not the girl who wanted her perfect life, not the officer assigned to investigate her murder. In the aftermath of the tragedy, these 3 indelible characters, Cameron, Jade, and Russ, must each confront their darkest secrets in an effort to find solace, the truth, or both. In crystalline prose, the author offers a brilliant exploration of identity and of the razor-sharp line between love and obsession. A small, sleepy Colorado town is confronted with a murder. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's a little bittersweet, I have to admit. That description sounds really good, and yet I will neither read nor review this book. So, I guess I'll wait patiently. I'll read all the reviews of it, and I'll wait patiently for her next book, which I presume will not have "girl" in the title. We'll see. I can't imagine anybody doing it twice in a row. So, anyway, let's move on. Anyway, so we started with a novel with "girl" in the title. The 375th book with "girl" in the title to be published in the last 13 months. In any other decade, the publishing industry would be absolutely ashen-faced ashamed of itself. Not in the age of memes. Anyway, let's see. So the next one here is 7th Street Press. They do mystery novels. And this is something called Desert Remains by Stephen Cooper. This is a Gus Parker and Alex Mills novel. And it's due in early October. And it has a blurb from Hank Philippi Ryan. Very nice. Although where she finds the time to read, I don't know. Let's see here. Stephen Cooper is a freelance writer, video producer, and author of 3 previous novels. And he's a former television reporter who's received multiple Emmy Awards. Good Lord. And that's his picture. Let's see if I can do this in the lighting here. That is our author. I can't help but hear my Sainted Ma's voice in my head. You got a published novel, it would kill you to smile. Someone is filling the desert caves around Phoenix with bodies. So we go from Colorado to Arizona. A madman who, in a taunting ritual, is leaving behind a record of his crimes etched into stone. With no leads and no suspects, well, I'm thinking the record carved in stone might be a lead, but you never know. Detective Alex Mills sees a case spinning out of control. Okay, but if you don't have any leads and you don't have any suspects, then your case isn't spinning out of control. It's the exact opposite. That's dead. City leaders want the case solved yesterday. But another detective wants to elbow Mills out of the way. And as the body count rises, Mills turns to Gus Parker, an intuitive medium, that's in quotes, whose murky visions sometimes point to real clues. It's an unorthodox approach, but Mills is desperate. Okay, so is this the first team up of Gus Parker and Alex Mills. Does we say here? It is. It's the first in a series. Okay, great, fantastic. I like that. I mean, I judge them. I judge a murder mystery series, a science fiction series, or a romance series. I judge each book independently. Anyway, I view it as the author's job to make it feel as if it's the first book in a series, regardless. It's their job to bring me up to speed. It's not my job to be up to speed. But even so, I really like it when it's the first book in a series. Because then the pressure's off. We'll do this next one. It's nice and heavy. Has some heft to it. What is this? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, fantastic. All right. Okay. This also comes out in October. And it is the complete annotated memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant. Annotated memoirs. So Penguin Classics, the Library of America, a million reprint houses have done Grant's memoirs, have reprinted them with introductions by historians or whatever. But this is surely the first annotated version of his two-volume memoirs, sold door to door by former Union soldiers, have never gone out of print and were once as ubiquitous in American households as the Bible, Mark Twain, Gertrude Stein, Matthew Arnold, Henry James, and Edmund Wilson. Oh no, sorry. I was actually describing a weird alternate America there. It's because I missed a period. The period comes after the Bible. Gertrude Stein and Edmund Wilson have never been ubiquitous in American homes. But they all praised the book, as did, let's see here, Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. George W. Bush both credit Grant with influencing their own writing. Now that already has a nostalgic sheen to it. Wow, that's incredible. Current president of the United States doesn't write, and can't read. Just his daily briefings have to be done in cartoon form, and his aides are perfectly willing to admit that. They don't appear to view it as any kind of shameful thing that this 70-something man can't read. But he's not. This book isn't going to involve him at all. It isn't going to concern him whatsoever. Okay, this is the first fully annotated edition of Grant's memoir. Now, what I'm curious to know, would you need to annotate? Oh, okay. So literary references, historical references that Grant makes but does not explain. Looks like every proper name is identified. That's great. That's fantastic. That must have taken time to do. This is a prodigious amount of work. And it's got a nice meaty introduction. Great. Fantastic. Okay. Boy, oh boy, this is going to get reviewed everywhere. I think I know what's going to happen with it. I hope that it doesn't. I've mentioned on this channel before that sometimes book section editors will look for ways to double up on reviews. They pay the reviewer a little bit more and get more books done in the same review. And this is coming out very close to Ron Chernow's new Grant biography. I could easily see this being lumped in rather than because either the editor would think this or some book reviewer would go to them and make the case saying, this is too important to ignore, and the editor, of course, is not going to ignore a new Ron Chernow. So the editor is thinking, well, how do I do both? I don't want to present my readers with two separate full-length reviews of something about Ulysses S. Grant. So what do I do? Well, I guess I could combine them. I could do that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, which would be a shame. I will do a standalone review of this for Open Letters Monthly. I'm still hoping that I get a chance to review the Chernow Grant somewhere on its own. I'll do that for Open Letters too if I have to. But all right, great. So the annotated memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant, fantastic. All right, and then that leaves us with this last one for today. For now, what is this? Oh, okay. Yes, the publicist publicist contacted me about this. This is The Resurrection of Joan Ashby by Charisse Wallace. Quite an eye-catching cover, isn't it? This comes out soon, I think. No, September. It comes out in September. What do we got here? Dear Editor, ever since Virginia Woolf gave her famed lecture series in 1928, female writers have sought one sacred thing, a room of one's own. Okay, you've got my attention. You've also raised the bar. At age 13, Joan Ashby has something like this in mind when she puts together her own rules to live by. And then they give us some of the rules. Rule number 1, do not waste time. Rule number 3, read great literature every day. Rule number 6, avoid crushes and love. Rule number 7, do not entertain any offers of marriage. Rule number 8, never have any children. Rule number 9, never allow anyone to get in my way. That's our title character, Joan Ashby. But when she falls in love with Martin in her 20s, she's already a prodigy, acclaimed by her dark and singular stories, with a best-selling collection under her belt and another on the way. Suddenly, Joan finds the life she planned for herself usurped by a husband, 2 sons, and a house in the Virginia suburbs. The author's audacious, dazzling debut novel. Okay, so this is a debut novel. It's another debut novel. Charts the modern struggle between the sacrifices of motherhood and the individuality of the artist, and how one unthinkable betrayal can disturb the whole balance. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, but this is 2017, right? The sacrifices of motherhood and the individuality of the artist. This is 2017, and she's a literary prodigy already. I don't know. We'll see. It's a nice long novel. I like that. For 2 decades, Joan tries to make peace with her new life. School drop-off, household chores, swimming lessons, and summer barbecues, with little time left in between for writing. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. That would have felt a little bit out of date, even in the 1970s. This is 2017, for Pete's sake, 50 years later. Yet somehow she manages to work in secret, stolen moments alone. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, God forbid her domineering husband wants her to be the next J.K. Rowling. Or that she wouldn't divorce him at the drop of a hat if she thought... And by the time her sons are grown, she has finally finished her masterpiece, the novel she was destined to write. But just as she is poised to reclaim the spotlight, a betrayal of Shakespearean proportions threatens to undo everything she has worked for. Epic, propulsive, and incredibly ambitious, The Resurrection of Joan Ashby is a story about sacrifice and motherhood, the weight of expectations, and the allure of solitude. That's interesting, isn't it? The author is poised to take her place among the renowned writers like Jonathan Franzen, Claire Massoud, Lauren Groff, and Jenny Offel. And so is Joan Ashby. And the author of this debut novel is... here, let me show it to you again. Several of you have tweeted me that I don't show these books enough when I'm actually showcasing them. I'm not only doing that, but I want you to get a good look at it. It's going to be hard to forget what this looks like. Somebody did a good job on the cover. The author is a writer, editor, lawyer, and film producer. She's a native of Los Angeles and holds a BFA in film from New York University's Tisch School of Arts and a JD from Loyola Law School. She lives in New York City with her husband, and this is her debut novel. Okay. All right. Well, it's due in the fall. I can't wait to read it. I'll probably read it long before then. No, it's due. It's not. It's due at the very end of August. So, I guess it's got an interesting premise, although a little bit bothersome. I'll have to see what the novel does. Of course, she's not the person who wrote the publicity material, although I assume she got it ahead of time and saw it. I have to assume that Joan Ashby in this novel faces some obstacle to professional fulfillment other than, a normal social life and a marriage and children. I have to assume she faces some obstacle other than that. A mention is made about a carping husband. It could be that, or a betrayal of some kind. Maybe that complicates the plot. But a novel in 2017 in which a woman has a successful literary career already, we're told that she's already a phenomenon, and is working on a novel and just needs time to finish it. I mean, but what? But what is the follow up there? What is the husband? Since I assume he's the primary villain suspect here, what is he going to say? Yes, you have a promising literary career, but I'm sorry, these dishes need doing. Who's going to believe that in 2017? Maybe I'm just assuming there's more going on here, and I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what it was, and that bit about the allures of solitude. That's a difficult thing to write about. That's ambitious right there. Okay, great. All right, so this is The Resurrection of Joan Ashby. It's a debut novel. We start and finish with debut novels. Then, what I freely admit is a Steve book, The Annotated Memoirs of Ulysses S. Grant. Incredible. Then Desert Remains, in which a cop, desperate for a break in a case, goes to, it sounds like a kind of faker savant. Somebody who has unrealistic but sometimes legitimate leaps of intuition, sort of like the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock Holmes in the great BBC Sherlock series. Who in the first season is the only one I've watched. In the first season, he does precious and little in the way of deduction. He mostly has flashes of light, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that if it's done well. That's kind of interesting too. Actually, this little haul has a bunch of books in it that I'm kind of curious to read right away. And then Girl in the Snow, which is another fiction debut, but does not share the eminence on the old nightstand. So there you go. That is a small haul for today. Still got us up to 20 minutes. Good Lord, am I a long-winded cuss, aren't I? But I'll stop for now, and who knows what we'll do next. I think more books are coming, so we might go right back to that. And I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.